So our good friend, the one and only Jordan St. Cyr, back with us, kind of welcome home. I know you're not in Winnipeg or Manitoba,
Yeah,
but you're on CHVN. It's good to see you, man.
man, it's so good to be here. I'm not gonna lie, it does feel like I'm at home. We have like 12 inches of snow on the ground here in Tennessee.
That's how much
Yeah.
you got. I was gonna ask, like, you got a little taste of home with the snow. How are did the family love it, or were they like, man, we
Oh
escaped
yeah.
this?
Yeah, no, they're all for it. They're like sledding and getting outside, doing the thing. My wife, she's like borrowing our neighbors' kids who are like, I think they're from Egypt. They don't have anything. They're outside in their tennis shoes, like, come here. She's like dressing them up. This is what we do.
Nice.
It's
Showing them
so
all
great.
how to be Canadian.
Yeah, we've got a high school right behind us, and in the parking lot last night, no word of a lie, like 30 vehicles just doing donuts, like all night until somebody called the cops on them. Like it's a fun time.
It's a
Yeah.
good way to learn how to drive in the winter, though. And I was going to ask, like, where are the better winter drivers, Nashville or Niverville?
Oh, Niverville,
Yeah.
Canada for sure. Let's get serious. No, we're shut down. Like the kids
Yeah.
are not going to school all week
Wow.
because we've got a little bit of snow on the roads. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
just a normal winter day back home. And so it's I get it. Like it when it gets hilly and it gets icy, it gets pretty treacherous. So you don't want to
Yeah.
be out there doing that.
No
But
kidding.
it is funny the way people react to snow down here versus back home. Like these guys doing the donuts. I'm like, I'll give you a six out of 10. You know, you'll get there.
You should have ran out there, show them how it's done.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we're talking to Jordan because tomorrow, Friday, you've got a new song coming out, Away For Us. Now, I want
Yeah.
to talk about the song right away itself, but very cool piece of this. You actually co-wrote it with Christian Hale and Brandon Heath.
Yeah.
How'd that come about? Did you guys just meet each other or through your record companies and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So through our publishing companies, we just connected and they were like, hey, do you want to write with Brandon Heath? And I'm like, do I want to write with Brandon Heath? You know what I mean? And I'd written with our other writer, Christian Hale, who's a producer, just a fantastic producer before. And so it was a no brainer. We got in the studio, but you never know what you're going to get. You never
Yeah.
know, kind of, we're going to get a great song, a good song, an okay song, varying degrees. And, Brandon was just so kind and so gracious to just ask so many questions. Like, Jordan, what's on your heart? What do you want to write? Who are you? What do you want to be about? What's the message you want to put out there? And at that point, we were maybe 6 to 8 months into just moving down to Tennessee, and I'm like, well, this is kind of where our life's at right now. I've had this dream forever of doing music professionally, to get on the road and tour for a living, and um, so we just wrote that story. And so this idea of you know, uh, like looking back to my younger days, just me and my guitar, it was easier. And now, wife and four kids, and we, packed it up to chase dad's dream, moving down to Tennessee. That's a lyric in the song, and it just hits me so deep because I've got just the most supportive wife and supportive kids, and they're along for this amazing journey that God's put us on. And when we got here, the challenges they just mounted. You know what I mean? Like we knew, okay, we got to figure out, new schools for the kids. We got to figure out, meet our new neighbors, our new house. We got to find a church. We got to, do all these new things. But when we got here, it was like it wasn't we were handling one thing at a time. It was like they just stacked on top of each other, and our kids were quite a bit behind in school because I guess
Mm,
this school they're at is a little more progressive. It's a little more ahead, So our youngest daughter or our oldest daughter should have been reading already. And we're like, oh my gosh, she's not reading yet, and all this stuff. And so it just mounted. And then our little girl had, more seizure activity, and we got to bring her back to the hospital. And we're like, well, who's the neurologist? Who's the, and the team
right.
just surrounds you and all that stuff. And so this song is really just, it's a testimony song. It also is just a song that really, I think, builds an altar for my wife and I to just really just look back and see what God did and how He made a way
Nice.
for us.
Love
So
that. I love
yeah,
that. And that's what altars are about, right? In the Old Testament, God says, take these stones, build an
that's
altar
right.
here. So you look back and remember. And I imagine, like, never mind school and everything, but yeah, Emery's health issues and then healthcare and insurance
Yeah,
now, right? And
yeah,
that
it's a
must have been
big
a
deal.
very scary decision to have to make, right? And just trust
We,
God's going to take
yeah,
you.
it was something we knew we had to lean into.
Hmm,
We didn't know how it was going to work. And we just leaned in, and there's just no, um, these are the things in life where we can take no credit for. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the beautiful part of leaning into faith and leaning into what God can do, is because I'm someone who loves to plan, bit of a control freak, not gonna lie. Like, I like to know what's coming, and I like to work very hard. So a lot of things I can credit to the work that I've done.
right.
And then there are things that God's asking me to lean into. It's like, Jordan, this is not going to be of you. Do you trust me? Will you step out in faith? And here we go. And so again, this song is just a testament to if you are in a season of transition or journeying, traveling, whatever that is, maybe you're moving like we did. Um, Even if you were to step out and get it wrong, you can trust that God will direct your steps. You know, if you get it right and you're on, you know, and you're following God's will for your life, He will make a way for you too.
I like that. But I think a
Yeah,
lot of times I know in my own personal experience, I'm like, just give me a sign, give me a sign. I'll
yeah,
lay out a
totally.
fleece and you'd make
Yeah,
clear what decision I make. And one thing, especially a few years ago when I was deciding whether to leave church and come to radio or not, it's like, am I
yeah,
abandoning the call? And then I just felt God saying, like, look, if you're following after me with your whole heart, you're not going to make the wrong decision. You make
yeah.
the decision, and I'll bless you in it and use you in it.
Amen. That's right. I think we get caught up in calling. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
so
And it's
much.
like especially in the music industry, like I think it's so easy to fall into the trap that, man, I am called to do music. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think God loves it when we enjoy the gifts He's given us, but I don't think we're called to do in that sense. Like, I think we're called to love Him, you know, love others, and hopefully use the gifts and abilities that you have to enact that. But I mean, if I didn't have music, if I didn't write songs, I could still love God and love
Love it.
others. So you know, hot take right now, but
I was
but I
gonna
think
say best sermon, best 2 minute sermon I've heard in a while, actually. So I think they'll speak to a lot of people, and a lot of
yeah,
people can relate to that and take that and start
yeah.
moving forward with their choices.
I think we pray that prayer. God, what do you want for my life? What should I do? And I think if you're in a season of, like, maybe you have a dream and maybe you know what to do, but it's not, being fulfilled the way you hoped or as quick as
Mm,
you wanted to,
yeah,
um, serve. Like, if you go serve your local church, serve the local food banks, serve wherever you can. Um, I, I just, God used, He's used those moments in my life where all of a sudden those seeds that you're planting do begin to blossom, because I think you're getting your heart in order.
well, I don't know about others, but those words just confirmed some things that I was hearing when I was praying on Sunday night. So,
Come on, let's
especially
go.
specifically, like, just go serve too in the midst of stuff and get
Yeah,
back to kingdom living, kind of, right? And
that's
inviting
right.
people into the kingdom. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. We often say, like, worship through it, right? Well,
Ah,
give
nice.
me give me legs to that. What does that mean practically? Yes, you want to lift your hands and worship, but so often our worship isn't music, and it's not a feeling, and it's like, I think God wants you to, get legs to that. And it's like, well, we worship God the best by loving Him through loving others. Go serve. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite line in this song that kind of just struck you as you guys were writing, or that speaks to you up to put you on the spot a little bit, or
I mean, there's the verses in the song are just, they're just my story. Um, let me think. So, like, verse 2 is just old neighbors for new ones that we barely knew. Each one of our kids was the new kid in school, and now our youngest in the hospital. How is this even possible?
oh,
And that just kind of launches us into the second chorus of, we don't always have answers for our questions. But again, if we can trust, if we can step out of the boat, so to speak, God will direct those paths. And I'm speaking in the future to my past self now.
So
And so
cool.
now this is again a landmark. This is a monument. This is a an altar that has been built where I can be like, okay, remember then, remember then, you know. And so now we've been renting a house for 2 years here in Tennessee. We needed like 2 years of tax returns to be able to buy a house. And so we're in a house, and we never had this thought, man, if we're renting and if we were to buy a house, we'd have to like move, and our kids would be the new kids in school again, and we'd be in a new neighborhood. And so get this, literally 3 houses down in our neighborhood, they built a brand new house. And it is the same house as the one we're living in right
Come
now.
on.
Same
Yeah.
floor plan. So not only are we getting to, have the same surroundings in our physical house, we're in the same neighborhood. The kids are going to the same school, and we're in a town that we had never heard the name of before, just outside of Nashville. And we're like, what? How's this
Right.
even possible? You know what I mean?
And
How's
now
this
you
even
you
possible?
stay and continue to bless the Egyptian family, right? And stuff.
Absolute.
And
Oh, they're blessing us. You know what I
right?
mean? They're just
Awesome.
these kids in this neighborhood. I think kids in general are little lights, and they're just so full of awe and wonder. And I think that's the point, because this life is when we take ourselves too seriously, we miss it. But the kids, they're discovering. Like again, our neighbor across the street, he's building an igloo right now as we speak, and he was out there till like 10 at night last night. And I'm like, that's it. God has put out this treasure hunt for us. And
Yeah.
are we willing to put in the time and the energy and just chase after those things? So I think it's pretty special.
Pictures like that too, good reminder, the stuff that maybe we get used to and we come to grumble about, like snow and cold, even for others, it's a new
Yeah,
magical experience, right? And there's the goodness of God's creation all around us and in our own lives at work that sometimes maybe we lose sight of. And so maybe look
that's
back
right.
at those own personal monuments and altars too. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Love
right.
it,
I love
buddy.
it.
I know everybody knows the answer in 2024, but tell us how we can find your music, man.
Yeah. I mean, go on Instagram. That's usually the first point of contact or whatever. Like that's where we'll post the things first. So that's just at Jordan St. Cyr, JordanStcyr, no dots, no spaces. Or you can go to my website, just jordanstcyr.com. And obviously YouTube. We got all the lyric
Nice.
videos and of all the songs and music videos. And yeah,
We'll pop
yeah,
that in the bottom of the story below the interview. We'll put the lyric video as well if you've got that ready to go Friday.
it'll be
And
going.
oh, I just blanked on what I was going to say about, oh, what's coming up next? Like, are you touring or anything right away, or you get to stay home for a bit?
I get to stay home for a little bit. I think my next show is February 15th, which I'm grateful for. So I'm doing a lot of writing, believe it or not.
Nice.
I've got a new record coming out. I believe it's coming out March. Just gotta confirm with the record label that that's when it's coming out. But I think that's when it's going to come out, and I'm super excited about it. But even though there's a new record coming out, I'm really excited to just be writing again and being in that season of just God. It's really a or personal reflection time of God, what have you done? What are you doing? And so I love again writing from that standpoint. And let's see what else. I mean, I probably gotta set up some show in Winnipeg at some
I
point. You know
think
what I
so,
mean?
man. Be
I
good to
think we're
have you
ready
back.
for it. Absolutely. So potentially some dates in Canada in June.
Right
That's what we're
on.
we're working on. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Would be so good to have you back up here. The snow and cold will be gone by then up
There
here
you
too.
go.
So
There
yeah.
you go. I love
Right
it.
on. Jordan, well, it's so cool to stop and look back at the way that God has made for you. Like we've all
Yeah.
had a firsthand look at that and good reminder for all of us too. And want to just like thank you for always being so transparent, right? You and Heather being so transparent about
Mm,
your lives and yeah, letting
absolutely.
us see God work in your life.
It's been a beautiful process. Testimony is meant to live outside of you, not just inside of you. It's supposed to bless others, and also I feel like it gives permission to others to tell their story. And so many
Hmm.
people have done that for us and been a light for us to be able to do that. So again, just grateful to be the age I'm at and to be able to bring this message at this time. It's something I don't take for granted.
Right on, away for us. It's out Friday morning. Everybody, make sure to check that out. Leave it on repeat on YouTube. Download it, buy it, however
You
we
got it.
can. And look forward to the new record too, buddy.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
You bet.